Welcome to today's demo. Today we will install Bifrost and connect Poolside models to it. So what is Bifrost? Bifrost is an OpenAI-compatible LLM gateway. It is written in Go. It sits in front of your VLM SGLang models, and it gives us an endpoint where we can configure virtual keys, budgets, spend tracking, etc. Bifrost routes by the model field in the request body to the correct upstream. We will install Bifrost by using two methods. First one using Docker and the second one using Helm charts. We'll then add a Poolside model to it and see how we can connect to it. I want to talk a little bit about the environment setup that I have for today's demo. I have a Kubernetes cluster in OpenShift. I have installed our Poolside Laguna S model. It's being served via the SGLang runtime. I also have kubectl, Helm, curl, and OpenShift binaries installed on my Mac. Let's deploy it first using Docker, following this guide. I have already pulled the Docker container that I need. So all I need to do is Docker run. With this method, Bifrost will run as a container on my local Mac. Let's attend to it. All right, it's initializing. Give it a second. At this point, it's serving the UI on port 8080. Let's go to that page on my browser. Okay, there is the Bifrost starting UI. Now we can add our Poolside model. You go to models on the left and click model providers. And then click add provider. Scroll to the very bottom, click custom provider. Give it a name. Let's go for Poolside. Base forward, it's an OpenAI compatible model. I need to get my base URL. So I go to my OpenShift environment. Get the route corresponding to my Poolside deployment. Don't have certs on there. I don't have any keys. I'm leaving the remaining options as the default. Click add. At this point, I have a provider. Since it is running on my local host, I can run some curl commands to make sure that it's up and running. Models endpoint should show my model. Poolside Laguna. There is also a health endpoint, sort of like a ping. And we have our Pool CLI, which is our harness. We can configure these environment variables. And then I can type pool. Then I should be able to talk to the Bifrost endpoint, and I'm getting inference from my model. Let's exit out of this. In the second method, kill my Docker deployment as well. In the second method, we are going to use Helm charts to deploy it. The guide for that is also in the docs.get-bifrost.ai and deployment docs Helm. So I have already ran these commands where I add the repo and update the repo. To install, we need to create an encryption key, and then you run Helm install. So in my case, I am going to create a namespace. Bifrost. I need the encryption key secret. I want to show you the values.yaml that I have to create. I picked the UBI 9 variant of the install because I'm installing it on OpenShift. You can leave it at the default. I had to set the pod security context, some of the fields to null. And since I'm on OpenShift, I disabled ingress. The remaining is resources and storage. So at this point, I can do Helm install Bifrost. Now I have two options to access this. I can port forward the Bifrost deployment. It's not running yet. Okay, let's wait for it to be ready. Okay, it is. Check again. It's running. At this point, I should be able to port forward, and we will be accessing the same web UI. Alternatively, what we can do is I can add a route to my OpenShift. And that would be I have the Bifrost URL, and on my browser I can navigate to that URL, and we'll be presented with the same UI that we saw with the Docker deployment. Let's add the model. OpenAI base format. So this deployment is running on the same cluster as my VLLM deployment where my Poolside model is running. So the base URL would be this service name, which is Laguna, dot namespace, which is VLLM dot sdc dot cluster dot local. Let's see if this works. Enable these two. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the terminal and verify that the deployment is healthy. Well, accessing the URL from the browser is a good sign that it's healthy. We can verify with the same health endpoint, but in this case, we are not using the localhost IP. Instead, we are using the route that we created for the Bifrost. Yeah, let's correct that. Okay, looks good. There's an API/providers too, which will show us the deployment that we just created and what is the base URL. Let's query the V1 models and find. So it says that a virtual key is required. So the Helm charts configures auth by default. And I think there's a parameter called enforce_auth on inference is true. And that's by default true. So to connect to the models, we need a virtual key. Let's create that in the UI. So on the left, we go to the governance tab and then click virtual keys, add a virtual key, give it a name. Now it'll show up the providers that we have. We want to add the Poolside, which is the one that we added. I'm not setting any limits. Let's create. It'll give me a key. Query it using the virtual key. And now it shows the models. Let's connect with the pool harness as well. Set the environment variables. pool. Okay, there you go. That is a short demo on how to deploy Bifrost and connect Poolside model and use pool harness to test the inference. Thank you for watching.